maybe I should just bring you along on my day-to-day teaching experience as I do virtual teaching, distance learning. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariely Sanchez and I am a 4th grade teacher in South Florida. And I know I haven't been posting a lot of vlogs lately. It's just been a challenging and overwhelming start to our year of learning, and this is the beginning of my 20th year of teaching. And as you know, with the pandemic and everything going on and with different changes that have been happening, it's been kind of a rocky start, but I feel like now that we are on week 5, today is the beginning of week 5. Today is September 29th, 2020. So I feel like by now I'm feeling like I'm starting to have a little bit of a flow. So I feel like maybe I should just bring you along on my day-to-day teaching experience as I do virtual teaching, distance learning. And yeah, just let you know what I'm doing with my kiddos virtually and my experiences overall. So I'm coming to you from my classroom. From time to time, I do come into my classroom and I teach. I'm not wearing my mask right now because I'm by myself in my room. But when I do step outside or if another person comes in the room, I do put it on. But right now I'm coming to you at the end of the day, and I just wanted to give you a rundown of how our day went. Yesterday was a teacher planning day, so the students didn't have school. I did come to school to try to sort out and clear out the things in my classroom. So a little bit of an update. The last time I left you and I was talking to you about how the room was, there hasn't really been much change. So yesterday, since I had a teacher work day, I did come in and my mom was allowed to come in and help me. So towards the end of the day, she came in and helped me take out my big classroom rug. And I also took Barry home, my gigantic bear. And I cleared off most of the kidney table that's over here. Now, I still have piles of stuff stacked still on top of the cabinets, and that has to come down little by little. The good thing is that even though my district is starting to make plans to move into phase 2 and open like a hybrid model, so some students will continue virtual while others will come to the school building, I'm going to be one of those teachers that will continue virtual. So my students are not coming to my classroom anytime soon. I don't know when that will be, possibly during phase 3. So when that happens, I'll make sure that the room is 100% ready. So little by little, like I said, I'll come in and I'll continue taking things home to storage and things like that. Let me just give you a little quick look around the room. So first things first, our keyboards and mice, or mouses, mice, whatever you want to call them, were removed and put in plastic bags because the students are not going to use any desktop computers. I did put my science bins down there. I don't know where to put them. These are additional computers that the tech will get at some point. There's another one over there by the trash cans. But I did put the tables together and push them against the wall so there's more space. And over here where our classroom library used to be, I just put our floor table off to the corner. And I still have my Hogwarts landscape silhouette kind of thing happening. The desks were placed this way by custodians. I will have to put them in rows and have to separate the desk a little bit better. What they did tell us was that we could potentially just leave desks like this. It's just skip every other desk and put blue tape so the students know that they cannot use that desk. So let's say a student is sitting there, no one will sit here, someone will sit there, no one will sit there, someone will sit back there, etc. So we'll figure out how to do this once I get there. I will not be using my cubby system. Those are headphones from last year and I have to still figure out how to get those to the students. I do have to empty that bookshelf. Those are all professional books that I'm probably going to sell on eBay because I just don't use them anymore and I need the space. Plus we have to clear up all that stuff. And as you can see, I still have all those things stacked, and little by little, I'll be taking them down. As you can see, I've already started taking some of my classroom books home. The next big thing is to take the couch home, so that'll be on another day that my mom can come by, and it could probably fit in her SUV. But this used to be filled with more of those crates filled with books, and I took them home. That's random stuff that I have to get through, and I've been using this car, been filling it up every time I'm here to try to take things home. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff to do, and that's just my teacher area is very bland and plain. So that's a little update for the stuff that is going on with my classroom. As far as my ankle injury goes, I feel better. Yesterday, I was able to walk better. I felt, oh, I'm great. But then by the end of the day, because of all the walking back and forth, taking things here and there, my foot started to swell and started to hurt. So I had to take some Advil. So yeah, still working through that, hoping my foot continues to heal. The orthopedic did tell me it's going to take a while because it's a fracture, but it's in a place where it doesn't get a lot of blood flow, so it takes longer to heal. So let me show you how our day went and what we ended up doing in our learning. Starting off, I've been doing a lot of PowerPoints. This is similar to what I was doing in the spring when we were doing distance learning. I was still doing my instructional slides, and these are my style of slides. So we started this morning with social studies, and I'm gonna go full screen so that you can see. And I have to switch this because we got new computers, but they did the extension of the screen so the Promethean could be like the second screen. And right now, since I'm not using it, I have to come here to the display settings and just click on Swap Presenter View so that my students can actually see the actual PowerPoint. And this is my webcam that the school gave me so I can use it. Oh, and I've been using this headset, and I'll try to link it down below. It costs like about $50, but it's wireless, it's Bluetooth, and it's really great. It has a mic, so I use it when I'm doing my live instruction. So for our social studies lesson today, we were going over the regions of the United States, just a last review. And these are the online class agreements that I have at the beginning of all of my PowerPoint presentations, just to remind the students what our online class agreements are. And I color code all my subjects. So social studies is this blue color. And I do post my standards. These standards I got from Jason's online classroom. I'll be sure to link them down below. They're Florida standards and they're perfect. So I just add them here so the students can know what we are working on. And I love that they're in I can statements. I also let the students know what materials we need because I do have them taking notes. And yeah, so these are snippets that I get from our textbook and I just put them in there. I use Snip and Sketch, is called now in the updated Windows 10, but it was called the snipping tool. And these are the note pages that the students set up. So I just basically have a background that looks like a notebook, and then on top of it, I put a text box, and I can type up what notes I want them to write in their notebooks. And then we started going over all of the characteristics of the Northeast versus the Southeast. And I showed the maps that, again, were in our online textbook, and I added them to the presentation. And then we went over the Midwest and the Southwest. And then after that, they got to see the map as well of those two regions and what states make up those regions. And then the last one was the West, and they learned all of these important facts about that region, and then we went over the map. So then we did a Let's Review where we went over that, and then I let them know what their assignment was, which was an assignment that they needed to complete in their social studies e-textbook. Students have access to all the electronic textbooks through their student portal, so they can find them in one place. So once they log into their student portal, they go to their class schedule, and next to each subject, there's a little book icon. And when they click on that, they're able to access the online textbook along with any assignments that I may give them in the textbook. So I assigned for this particular chapter the lesson game and the chapter test. Let me show you what that lesson game looks like. This is how my social studies textbook looks, and it's very similar to the students. So for them, they just click on assignments, and then we'll see the assignment that I have assigned. Since we're doing the regions of the United States, I would just click on chapter 2, which is this, and I have access to this PowerPoint that comes with it. But if I click on lesson game on the side, this is what comes up. And some of them we've already answered because we were practicing together during a live session. And basically, is every section in that particular chapter, this is like a Jeopardy, and sometimes the lesson game is a picture that they need to unlock. So as they answer, it reveals part of the picture. But for this one, it happens to be like a Jeopardy. So they choose a section and the points or the area, the question that they want to answer, and then they can this pops up, and they can answer the multiple choice question. So if you wanted to show how many people live in different areas, you would use a special purpose map. And we went over that. So you can turn in and see I got a point. If they got it incorrect, it gives them an opportunity to choose another answer for half the point. So they continue to do that until they finish and they get the full points. So that is one of the activities they did for social studies. The other one was the assessment that I had already picked for them. I'm going to show it to you, but it looks different on student view. So they have different questions that they're going to answer based on the content of the chapter. So this is just a little overview of those 12 questions that they have for this particular test. And yeah, that's what they're working on this week in social studies. Now, I should show you what our schedule currently looks like so that you can get an idea of how our classes flow throughout the day. And I'll also tell you how I run my classes. So let me get the schedule so I can show you. So this is our class schedule, and again, I created this template myself so that I can show them what we're working on. Yesterday we didn't have school, so today, Tuesday, we started with social studies. Then the students had PE. They had some block for iReady lessons, math, lunch, language arts reading, and language arts writing. And that's pretty much how our week runs. And yeah, I also make this available to parents and students in Class Dojo and within the Microsoft Teams that we use. Talking about Microsoft Teams, that is exactly where I go to post all of my assignments, even if they're done outside of Microsoft Teams, so that students have one place that they can see what their assignments are currently, and they can turn them in, and I can also give them feedback when I give them the grade, which I then transfer into our actual district gradebook. These are my teams, and as you can see, I have an elementary homeroom. That's where I post all of our Zoom meeting links when we meet. And I then use a separate team for each subject, which makes it easy for me to organize everything as far as assignments go, class notes, etc. So I'm going to go into our social studies team and show you how our assignments look. Once I'm in my social studies team, I just click on assignments. In posts, I can just make general posts. In files, I upload any files that I want the students to access. I can also link it to a class notebook, which uses OneNote. I haven't done that yet, but it's an option. So these are assignments that were previously done. So they have a due date before that. This is the one that I just assigned today. As you can see, it says Chapter 2, Regions of the United States, Lesson, Game, and Test. So I'm going to click the student view so that you can see how it looks. And right here in student view, I just put all the directions for the students to complete. And I also give a rubric as far as how I'm grading this, so they know it's out of 100 points possible because it's out of 100%. And I can do the same thing for any other assignment. I usually also use student work if I want them to upload a picture of the assignment or their own assignment document. And there's other ways that I also use the assignments in here using Microsoft Forms as well as PowerPoint files that I can attach as resources to lessons, or Word document files like I did today for our writing assignment. So like you saw on the schedule, after social studies this morning, the students had PE. After PE, they had some iReady time, and then it was time for math. So let me show you how my math PowerPoint looks. Similar to my social studies PowerPoint, same layout. So let me just change the display settings here so that you can see it full screen. Same layout, has the day again, and then online class agreements, and math is like this yellowy orange. I call it more like orange. We have our math problem of the day that comes from our Go Math book. And then I again show the standards from Jason's online classroom, and we go over the materials that they will need for class. We are currently working on comparative relational thinking, and these are actual note pages that I created last year. I have to recreate them because I lost files from my hard drive. This wasn't from last year. This was like from 2 years ago I created this, but I haven't been able to redo them. At least I have pictures, and I was able to show the students about comparative relational thinking, which is an algebra skill. They're not meant to just solve the problem to see if they both equal the same thing on either side of the equal sign. They're meant to use comparative relational thinking to determine whether the equations balance or not. So this is the lesson. It is an extra lesson that students in 4th grade in Florida are given. It's not in our regular textbook, so we have to incorporate it into our lessons. And what I did is I went into YouTube and I showed a teacher that was going over it. And then I used some of her examples. And with the annotation tool during the Zoom meeting, I was able to use it to show them step by step how to compare addition and subtraction problems, whether you're trying to determine whether the statement is true or false, or if you're trying to look for the unknown number. And I know it sounds like a lot, but from the pictures that I showed you, is basically that. This is one of those skills that they will be like at first, I'm like, oh, I have no idea how to do this. And I tell them it's okay. It's going to take time before you get to know it. Now, with this lesson, after I did it, I created an exit ticket within Microsoft Teams. So let me show you how that assignment looks. All right, so that assignment is right here, comparative relational thinking exit ticket, and I put the standard. The student view looks like this. Basically, it just says, please complete these math problems. And this is a Microsoft form, which I love that within Microsoft Teams, they can just click on here and they'll provide their answers. And they had 4 problems. This is the first section, and then they will click on next. So let me just answer this and click on next. And then the next section, they write their answer to the 2 problems to find out what N means. And then this being a form that I created myself, I placed the answers already. So I will know instantly how the students did. And I started using it to meet one-on-one with students that I noticed did not understand the concept. So I let the parents know, hey, can you let them know to stay behind in after the next class so that I can go over this concept with them. And I'm going to continue to do that tomorrow because this is the last lesson that they need to understand before they take their topic assessment, which is a district test that they need to take. And we have to monitor them while they're taking it in a Zoom meeting. So they have to have their videos on, and I need to monitor them within the testing platform to see how they're doing, or if I need to give them access if they got locked out accidentally, etc. So that was our math lesson, and after that was lunch, and then it was time for reading. And today we started wonders. So we're back to doing wonders. I don't know if I said that in the last video, but for the last 2 weeks, we were doing Start Smart. We were reading A Strange Disappearance, which was last week. And the week before that, we were reading Where Have All the Fish Gone? Basically, one is a literary text and one is an informational text. And we were just introducing the literary and informational standards that go with those texts. It was a lot of fun because we got to talk about a lot of different things and review some really important skills. So now we're starting Wonders with Unit 1, Week 1. And this is how I run my Wonders lessons. So as soon as I log into Wonders, I'm already with the district calendar, so they know that we are on Unit 1, Week 1. So I basically do everything that is whole group for the first day as I introduce a new unit. So I did the unit opener where I clicked here and then I opened this right here and I projected this page right here that kind of opens up the unit with a big idea and a little story. And then I clicked on Introduce the Concept, and I used the little weekly opener video that introduces the essential question.
Clever ideas. Where do good ideas come from? Clever ideas can come from things we see around us every day.
And this video is about a minute long and just basically goes over that essential question. And then after that, we can go ahead and click on the beginning of that. So creative thinking, where do good ideas come from? That's our essential question. And I went into our read aloud. Now our read aloud, we have a couple of different options. So this one happens to be The Princess and the Pea. And I can actually click on this play button and the students can hear the story while looking at the pictures. Or I actually have my Wonders Teacher Edition right here. And I can read the story to them, which is exactly what I did. So the story is right here. I read it to them. Before I start reading to them, I go over the genre of fairy tales and the comprehension strategy, which is making predictions. And I actually model these think alouds, which happens to be, in this case, making predictions and confirming whether they came true or not. And then after that, we go over the vocabulary. So yeah, after the listening comprehension, I then click on vocabulary, and then I can click here and make this a little bigger. And here are our 8 words. And what I love about this is that a lot of these words have videos or pictures. All of them have videos or pictures. Not all of them have videos. This one does have a video. And then you can click on routine and you go over the define example ask vocabulary routine. And I had the students answer these ask questions in the chat. So that was a lot of great discussion. They were having a lot of fun with a lot of these questions. But yeah, these are our 8 words. So we go over them with the students. We go over the sentences that they're used in, use context clues to kind of determine the meaning, as well as using the picture to help us determine the meaning. And that is our vocabulary. And I had the students work on this activity that I assigned by just clicking over here in the wheel and say assign this resource. And that gives me the option to make this into an assignment that they then access in their portal. And then I clicked on the shared read, and we read the dragon problem. We used our SPADE strategy, which is a reading strategy our district uses. S stands for survey the text, read the title, look for any text features. We saw bold highlighted words, and we looked at both pages. And then the P in SPADE is for predict. So they predicted what the story would be about. So we did the first read, and then tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about the main idea, etc. Today they have an assignment where they needed to write the elements of story structure, character setting, important events that happen in sequential order. After reading the story, I went over the comprehension strategy again, the comprehension skill, which is sequence. And again, look, we're dealing with the elements of story structure, and then the genre of fairy tale and the vocabulary strategy of synonyms. And tomorrow we're going to keep working on those and do a second read of the dragon problem and really dig into the text structure, which is story structure, and look at sequencing. We're going to look at author's point of view. Is it first person or third person? So there's so much we can do in that one shared read. And yeah, so that was our reading lesson. Then the students had that vocabulary game and then a Microsoft assignment, which was a form, and I'll show you how that looks. So now I am in my language arts reading team, and here it is, Dragon Problem, Elements of Story Structure. And this is the student view, and again, it's a form that I created. So the students will answer these questions. So who are the main characters of the story? When and where does it take place? What is the main problem? What important events happen at the beginning, middle, end? How is the problem of the story solved? And how did Leanne get his good idea for solving the problem? And that's an important question because it goes with the essential question for this unit. And the students can make that connection. And it's also going to be connected to other stories because in this unit, different characters in all the stories we read solve their problem by getting a good idea, but that good idea comes in a different way. So then the students then worked on those assignments, and then they came back at 2:05 for our writing lesson. With our writing lesson, we're working with a prompt that we started working on 2 weeks ago, and this week we're finally starting to write our essay. So that's how our district wanted us to gradually release the writing into them. So 2 weeks ago, we unwrapped the prompt and we read the first source and gathered the evidence from that first source. Last week, we read the second source, gathered the evidence from that second source, and we bucketed the evidence, which is a writing strategy that our district uses in order to group similar ideas together. And today, I introduced different ways that we write introductions, and their assignment was to write an introduction. I'll show you how that assignment looks in a moment, but first, let me show you the PowerPoint. So this is the PowerPoint that I put together for this essay, and it does incorporate some things that I created from other PowerPoints in the past and some things that our district shares. And I did add some things additional from this PowerPoint that I used last week. So this is the same PowerPoint I used last week, except today I added some opener information, how we write introductions. And as you can see, writing, I color-coded it as purple. So we have the LAF standards for opinion writing and organizing and writing essays. I go into what opinion writing is, and this is something I went over with them last week and I just reviewed today, and what an opinion essay does. These features of an opinion essay are given to us by our district, so I just reviewed that with them. I went over the analytical writing process, which is how I want them to go through this process on their own, and then I went over how we unwrap the prompt. And I like to use my APT 1, 2, 3. APT, as easy as 1, 2, 3. So I go over this on how to unwrap the prompt, and then we actually went ahead and did that. So we circle our essay keyword, we underline the topic, and then we ask, is it a 1-part or a 2-part prompt? It's a 1-part prompt because they're only asking us to choose which one we would like to visit. So A stands for audience. So since they didn't tell us who we're writing the essay to, the audience is a teacher, so we know it's academic writing. The purpose is connected to the keyword that we circled, so it's to give my opinion, and the task is connected to what we underline, which is the topic, and I have the students write this in the form of a question. Which is better to visit, Alaska or Florida National Parks? So then this is a form that our district gives us on how to unwrap the prompt. So we had already done this last week, and this was just a review today. And this is new for today. So the district gives us these techniques for opinion leads. So I shared that with the students, and I told them that we were going to focus on 2 of these today. We were going to focus on direct statement or personal connection. And those are the ones that we came up with. These are my examples using those 2. Now, I will share the rest of the PowerPoint with you later, but then the students had an assignment that they needed to complete, which was to write their opinion introduction to their essay. So this is how that assignment looked in Microsoft Teams. So this is the student view for that assignment. And with this one, I actually attached a Word document and I gave students the ability to edit their own copy. So when I click on it, or when students click on it, they get this. And I gave them the 2 examples. I gave them the directions. They can write their name here and type their opinion paragraph introduction down here. And that way I can easily see it. They type it. Once they're done, they click close and I can review their writing. I can also choose to give them comments, feedback, etc. I can return the assignment back to them if they need to make revisions. So I'm learning little by little how to incorporate all of that with Microsoft Teams. And as you can see, Microsoft Teams is very similar to Google Classroom. It's just that our district is a Microsoft district and not a Google district. So I'm using what is available to us and what we're told to do. So that pretty much wraps it up for today and for this video, because I just realized it's very long and I'm sorry. I just wanted to give you a rundown of my typical day doing distance learning virtual teaching. I'll probably vlog a little bit more during the week just to give you a recap of what we did, but I'm running out of time and I need to be out of here. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you got some great ideas. I am looking forward to sharing more. I have not forgotten about my series on Let's Get Techie with Marieli. And I have some different technology tools and tips that I would like to share with you eventually when I have a little bit more time. But for now, I got to get out of here before they lock the building on me. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought or any questions you may have. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile. Hello dreamers, wishers, and magical thinkers. Thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video and for showing your support. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so by clicking on my picture down here. You can also check out my latest videos here and here. Don't forget to believe in the magic that's inside you, because you are capable of great things. See you next time.